Hello and welcome to Unlimited Realities. I'm your host, Lisa Zimmer. And today I am speaking to a wonderful guest. I've had her on before, Shira Adler. Shira is both an advocate for and author of a book on the benefits of medical marijuana. And her book is called The ABCS of CBD. And I've had Shira on before. Shira's a wonderful guest. She's so informed. She's on the cutting edge of everything that is to benefit us, both holistically and medicinally through herbs. And so she is the expert of the benefits of CBD therapy and the medicinal benefits. And during this time of COVID, I was thinking she would be a great guest to have come on to talk about, you know, the benefits of what CBD can do for anxieties and stress, because there's so much of that, and I'm hearing such repeats of the same things from people that I know CBD can benefit. But then in talking to Shira and getting the show organized, Shira enlightens me to a new mode of insight and information that she's going to turn us on to as well. So without any more pause or hesitation, let me bring on Shira. So audience, welcome, the expert, the queen, the informative, insightful soul that she is, and the author of the ABCs of CBD, Shira Adler. Welcome, my dear. Thank you for coming on Unlimited Realities today.
Oh, Lisa, you are such a goddess, and it is always a joy and a half. Every time I see your name pop up on an email, I get super happy, and you are the antidote to my stress for COVID. So thank you so much for having me on as a guest again. I love speaking with you.
I love
how your audience is so engaged and so conscious and wise, and it's such a great honor. So thank you.
Oh, it's wonderful to have you. I always love speaking with you. You're such a wealth of information. And so let's talk a little bit about, first, you are the author of the ABCs of CBD, and such an incredible Bible for everybody, especially as we're moving through. You know, I don't want to go over repeated information because I think we've saturated the market of, yes, CBD is a great alternative, okay?
Right.
Right. You know, let's talk a little bit about why it's a great alternative right now during COVID, and then we can move into some new topics, okay?
Absolutely.
So
yes, you know, the fact is, if people needed the basics, go ahead, read the book, you'll get a wealth of information. But the fact is, we are in a really unusual place right now as a society. I live in New York, so I am based literally right outside the epicenter of where this started in New York. I'm in Westchester County. So we have been especially hard hit by COVID in this state. And it's just so interesting when I have talks with people who, depending where you live, you have and carry a different level of awareness, of fear, of anxiety, of disregard. I mean, I want to honor all opinions here. But the fact is, we have never, as a world, been in the place that we now find ourselves in. And it's really, really difficult to navigate. So if I can say one sentence that would summarize why cannabinoids are essential, I'm going to reference something we did talk about earlier. They are natural compounds with these cannabinoids, right? CBD is short for cannabidiol. It's one of about 140 of these compounds that are especially good to regulate what is called our endocannabinoid receptor system. And that system regulates and balances all of our other systems. So think about that. If you have heightened anxiety, and you show me one person right now in this country, in this world, who doesn't have that. One person with anxiety, PTSD, social anxiety, deeper levels of depression, you know, every single human being on this planet right now has that connective tissue. We have a shared collective consciousness of heightened anxiety and stress. And your endocannabinoid receptor system, cannabinoids, help to balance and regulate on a mental health level. This is what some of the earliest research has shown. So if you ever considered, like, maybe I need it, maybe I don't, is CBD good for me, is it useful, just be your own litmus test, because the fact is you're stressed. There's no question that we are stressed. And our systems are almost in a fight or flight mode, a lot of people. are experiencing things they've never really identified or experienced, never mind those who currently do already carry a mental health diagnosis or a challenge. Cannabinoids more than ever. And hopefully, if we really wake up, because I think this is an opportunity to understand we are at humanity's reset point. That's what's going on right now. So you have an opportunity to invite some really profound change and self-care on a level you've never experienced it, and it's never been more essential that you do experience it.
What about people who have to kind of switch their mindsets from still thinking, CBD is associated with THC and the stoner realm of it? Because, I think there's benefit for both, personally, CBD and THC, but there's such a closed-minded perspective I've run across, and I've been surprised to run across it because I've found it in people not very old, and I've found it in people who look at CBD and still associate it with, getting high or not having the benefit, the medicinal benefit that it actually does. So how can we switch that perspective a little bit?
And the funny part is it is so true what you said. I am still completely flabbergasted by the fact that people have not recognized you don't know what you don't know. That's the super title on my book. And the reason I say it is, if you want to be caught in the way you were raised or what you used to think, and you're not open-minded enough to explore the possibility that you simply don't know what you don't know, that THC, or what you think you're afraid of, which is the, quote, high, the euphoria, you need to understand two things. The plant in its complete form, whether you're talking cannabis or hemp, there are two different sides of the same species. There's marijuana and there is the hemp side. But the plant in either side and in full form contains all cannabinoids. THC is just one of them. So depending on the kind of product, how you're using it, what it's for, and what it's alleviating, that's the difference between treating it like a medicine and being stuck in the stigma around what you are afraid that it will do, which is the high. But THC in only in recreational products is designed to enhance euphoria. In our products, in mine or any other standard hemp or cannabis product, it's about the balance of ratio. It's about symmetry. It's about everything that would exist in any multivitamin. You got a little bit of, this and that, and it's how they work together. So I just keep encouraging people, please get educated. Please consider the fact your body is designed for this. And by the way, we produce THC in our breast milk. So we produce cannabinoids. They exist in our body already. They're part of us. They're part of nature. And if you're using a hemp-based product, then you actually have far, far, far less of that THC molecule, that cannabinoid, because by law, you can't have more than 0.3%, which produces no euphoria. You cannot get high off of a CBD or a hemp full-spectrum product. Cannot happen.
Right. And the benefits are phenomenal for stress, for anxiety, for people who are feeling the overwhelm. I know the benefits of CBD and how it can absolutely bring more of a perspective or a grounding. It just really does make the anxiety subside. So
yeah, and you know what I like to encourage people? Yes, so true. Let's think about how people are sheltered right now, right? Let's look at how we're experiencing our daily life. Everybody's making the best of it, depending where you are in the country, what your activity levels are. And yet, if you looked at what the first businesses were that were considered essential businesses, liquor stores never closed. Liquor stores are considered essential mostly because of a purely medical response. Well, okay, we can say that, but I think it's the taxes, and the government wanted the taxes. But let's just say, for the sake of giving them the benefit of the doubt, that they did it because they cared about people's conditions. If you're an alcoholic, if you are a functional alcoholic, and you're all of a sudden in a position where you can't access what you think your body needs, we have problems. Wow. We have an increase of domestic abuse. We have, and actually that's a real concern and a problem going on with COVID right now. Right. You're trapped with people sometimes that you shouldn't be stuck with. And if you don't have access to that alcohol, and you are an alcoholic, it can really affect you on a medical, physiological, biochemical level, right? We know this. So they allow that. And they're like, yeah, have a glass of wine. Make sure you relax. There are a lot of Zoom happy hour, virtual happy hours. I've done a bunch of them. They're fun. I get together with my girlfriends. I have a birthday party after this podcast to jump on with a friend in Switzerland who can't get back to New York. You name it. I'm not judging. And a glass of red wine for me is great once in a while. But why are we not treating cannabis as a medicine? Let's say you do need stronger. You need more of the entourage effect. You need more of the THC to balance the cannabinoids. You have a diagnosis code. Your doctor's already recognized you have this and that. Why is it that we're not supporting, and finally we are, cannabis dispensaries as being just as valid and just as essential? Because, by the way, you can't hurt your body with it in the way you can with alcohol. There's no question.
Right.
They're incomparable in terms of health benefits.
Right.
So, again, I encourage you, why don't you try to, and I'm not advocating for, of course, for minors or misappropriate or misuse, because you can abuse anything if you have a personality to abuse something, right?
Right.
But if you're talking about self-care, smoking is better than drinking. I'm sorry, it just is on every level.
Well, and I totally agree, and I can only imagine, the tax system that in states where it does have medical legalization or medical marijuana legalization, how there must be a flood right now of extra applications for licenses, because I can't, at this time of anxiety and stress that I'm seeing in people, this is a great alternative to medicines or prescriptions or anxiety drugs or, things that maybe have side effects or are going to contribute differently, because we are going through a big change. And I think the emotional changes that we're going through are something that it's not something that people are used to having to look at. Like you said, it's definitely affecting relationships. We're in relationships or not in relationships, and looking at relationships differently because we're sequestered with people differently. So
that's right.
That's right. We have to focus on our relationships more intentionally, and look at them from a way of how we're navigating, how we're communicating, and what we're going to do outside of COVID. I'm looking at, you have all these pieces that are running through in regard to bettering the human holistically, and recently come across a new healing method, modality, machine I'd like to introduce the audience to. Let's talk a little bit about how, in moving through COVID, there's so many different things that are showing up. I talked a little bit about it today in my post. It's like I'm inundated with my email of take this class, do this thing, buy this product. And it's all, of course, marketing around COVID. And some good, some bad, and some crazy. Okay, I'm just, going to put it out there. I'm nauseated. However, you have hit upon something that is a very valid piece, and I know its validity for a little bit of time. I was introduced to it briefly through a friend of mine, and I know very little, so I'm not going to talk on this. I'm going to hand this over to you to educate us and enlighten us upon this information. But let's talk about what has crossed your path recently, how it came to be in regard to its inventor, and the benefits today in navigating COVID and how it can show up. So let's talk about the RIFE machine, Shira. Bring it on.
Yeah, it's actually right. It's related to the RIFE machine. So I was laughing when you said that I'm inundated with things. I don't want to. I'm really going to fully admit it. I can't tell you some of the junk that I have now bought on through Facebook and things that I was like, well, that looks interesting. Yes, we are being. I've never shopped as much online. I'm not doing a ton of it because of, I still run a small business, but you are so right. There's stuff coming up left, right, center every day. I was like, oh, I could use that exercise device because God knows I'm a little stagnant now. So Oh my
man,
gosh,
I
it's
hear
so
ya.
true.
I know it.
So true. I bought myself, I had a quarantined birthday